Okay, Freddie. I need to respond. First and foremost, I want to say that your comment back, different strokes for different folks, spot on. But what I'm trying to say with the Phaedrus Socrates argument is that yes, copper is copper, tin is tin, metal is metal. But when you get to a relative quality like good and what did you say? You said good and just. It comes down to opinion, not truth. And therefore, how do we define truth? You make some very strong points. Walks like a duck, walks like a duck, talks like a duck. Then it's probably a duck. But that's not necessarily true. Let me explain this. So what I want to get into a little deeper is a Greek ideology, Greek philosophy, but it's been brought to the forefront by a gentleman named Bertrand Russell. He's a philosopher, died in 1970, genius of a guy, but he really dialed in this theory of truth established by correspondence. Okay, so what I want to bring up is some of his points, and this will directly address your analogy of the 100 people and the blue apple versus the red apple. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is bring up my Word document so that I can actually talk to you here, and that will make it a little bit better. Alright, so basically I made 6 points, and I'm going to try and explain them to the best of my ability. Number one, the theory of truth must be able to admit that it has an opposite, that opposite being falsehood. Okay, without the opposite, there is no theory for correspondence. So that is key to this idea. There has to be an equal and an opposite, and that he's calling falsehood. So for truth to be established by correspondence, there also has to be an equal and opposite called falsehood. The second thing he says is, although truth and falsehood are properties of beliefs, they are properties dependent on the relation of beliefs to other things. Other things specifically, we'll get into. Truth consists in some form of correspondence between belief and fact. This is the key point, fact, okay? How do you define a fact? There's a lot of people out there that can say, well, a fact is a truth, but in actuality, a fact is a truth, but you can have a fact and not have a truth. So the next thing we say is, there are 3 things that correspondence theory is looking for, and this will include the facts. A, allow truth to have an opposite, namely falsehood. We've already established that. B, makes truth a property of belief. Okay? And C, makes it a property wholly dependent on the relation of the belief to outside things, or facts. Now he goes on to say that minds do not create truth or falsehood. So it's not within our power as humans to create truth or falsehood. They exist, they're there. What our job is to comprehend them. The mind creates a belief. When beliefs are created, the mind cannot make them true or false. What makes a belief true is a fact. And this fact does not, except in exceptional cases, in any way involve the mind of the person who has the belief. So the fact is the key to what we're looking for. Okay? Now, the 6th and most poignant thing, and this comes from our giant pool of knowledge, Wikipedia. Wikipedia defines correspondence, saying that holds the truth or the falsity of a representation is determined in principle solely by how it relates to things or facts. Now, I'm not just pulling the stuff out of thin air. The stuff I'm getting for is from this book, okay, across the screen, Classical Philosophical Quotations, and there's several arguments on truth, of course. Now, this one is the most Greek. Okay, there are 3 different major ideas involving truth, and the first one is correspondence. The second one is coherence, which I'm not even going to get into unless you make me. And then the third one is pragmatism or pragmatic grounds. But I like this theory because it directly addresses your issues. So now we're going to pull up your blog again. By the way, good job. I thought that was, I really enjoyed reading it because it led right into this argument. So, using your definition of being colorblind, you know, it's interesting to use that because people have this issue. You know, what is seeing color? Now, if you argue straight from your perspective, okay, we're talking about truth as relativity. It is a relative truth, and the relative truth is each person who's colorblind and sees the apple as blue would argue that it's blue. Now, is that a truth? Russell would not argue that that's a truth. He would argue that that's a falsehood. Here's why. 100 people, 99 of them thinking it's blue, one of them, me, not colorblind, thinking it's red, argues directly into the idea of correspondence. The correspondence is, in this case, and this is just my opinion, and you can embattle this all you want, that upon seeing this, I have formed an opinion. I have a belief that the apple is red. The other 99 people have a belief that the apple is blue. Now, the other 99 people also happen to be colorblind. Therefore, in their opinion, the apple is blue. But the fact here is that the apple is red. Has nothing to do with what my opinion is, has nothing to do with 99 other people. The fact is that the apple is actually red. Therefore, my mind is not creating a truth. It's not creating anything that I can validate, but the validation is in the form of the actual color of the apple. Now, this goes to the idea that if something doesn't exist and we don't see it, does that mean it doesn't exist? It's an interesting question. Hopefully, we can talk about this some more. Have a good night, buddy.